Dear Joshua Callaway, I'm sorry I haven't written in so long. In truth, I don't know what to say, but I doubt my letters would even get to you if I tried. I woke up early this morning, or Joe made sure of that, with the sense that I should write to you anyway. Now I think I know why. Something strange has happened today. You remember Lizzie? Anne's servant? Sweet girl, and so young too. About the same age as Anne and Wes, I think. Well, I saw her walking outside of her house this morning. She had a parcel with her and looked to be in bad shape. It took me a minute to see this, though. I've heard stories. But I never seen it in Summerfield. Anne's grandfather is such a nice man. I am uneasy. I went in to go get some food to help her, but when I came back, she was already gone. I hope she finds success in the journey ahead, as I expect you do. But my mother can never know. Don't mention this to her in any of your letters. I dread seeing Anne after this. I would give anything to hear your opinion, although I should not even mention this in a letter. Don't tell me what the men have to say about these situations. I'm afraid my imagination is all I can stand just now. But I know you'll keep this letter close to protect me, Lizzie, and the children. Please come home soon so that I may keep and capture you here for myself. Much love. Your Dulcinea.
My dear Dulcinea, I have been far too busy since I came up to write. Today, however, we are resting upon our oars, and after having had a song with my brothers and noticing they are writing to their wives and friends, I have taken it into my head to tell you about my new and so far pleasant home. The weather is cold and wet, but we are all right for now. There is great rejoicing in camp today at the prospect of a fight. I am restless to do something. I can't say when I will be at home. Tell Wes I will write to him just as soon as I get time. I had the opportunity to send this by hand, which seems to be the only safe way of getting letters through. Do let me know if you've received it. I have no greater desire than to be permitted to return to you, but my first duty is to my country. Let me know that you are happy, and I shall be so. For it is you for whom I live. May God bless my wife and children and return me safe to them. As ever, your faithful and affectionate, Josh.
Mama, you scared me.
Goodness, am I really that frightening?
No, Mama.
You're going to have to to write him back eventually.
I know.
Can't leave that boy hanging.
I know, Mama.
Do you remember when you and your brothers went to Selma while he was teaching? I thought he'd just about have a heart attack when he couldn't find you.
Mama, I know. What's the point of it? He never gets my letters, never. I can't really talk to him. It's only a bunch of one-sided conversations where he thinks I'm just plain ignoring him, and I'm sure he hates that. But there's nothing I can do. So why write these letters that go nowhere?
All right, honey. I'm sorry I said it.
I didn't mean... How are the babies?
They're inside, sleeping.
Maybe I should get them up. It's getting late.
Let them sleep, baby.
If you say so. Well, you'll be the one that has to deal with them tonight when they won't fall asleep.
I'll take my chances. What are you doing?
Taking down the clothes. I've got to remember to fix that hole.
Why don't you come and sit with me for a minute?
No, Mama, I'm busy this morning.
You're just trying to distract yourself.
I'm not. I don't need distractions. I need to get things done.
Okay then. What have you done today?
That doesn't matter. Nothing happened to me this morning.
That's not what I asked. What are all these tasks you so desperately have to do?
I have to chop some more firewood.
We have plenty already.
I'll make a fire for the room.
Honey, it's April.
Mama, there's plenty of things I need to do this morning.
Sure. Like sitting on the porch with your mother.
You know what? Fine.
Okay then. If you want to stay busy, stay busy.
I will.
Why won't you write to him, baby?
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, look, Mama. Wes is back.
What are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be in school.
I thought so too.
Well, then what are you doing here?
They closed the school.
No.
Thank the
That's
Lord,
horrible.
finally.
Weren't any teachers left? All them off fighting with those lady groups making those ratty bandages.
It was bound to happen soon. You knew that.
Yes, Mama, but now I've got nothing to do here.
That's not true. You could help Dulcie here with her heaps of work to do.
Well, I thought I might actually...
You're too young.
Just by a little, come on.
You're too young.
The war's gonna be over by the time I'm old enough.
I wouldn't count on that. But you're still too young for now.
I don't have to listen to you, you know.
But you do have to listen to me, don't you?
Well...
Yes, you do. Now let's take a step back here, and we'll talk about it when you're old enough.
But...
But what?
Nothing.
Right. I'll get them.
Thanks, Mama.
I am not too young and you know it. There are plenty of boys my age and younger going off to fight.
And why should you have to do what everyone else is doing?
Because.
If your general jumped off a cliff, would you jump too?
Of course. I'm sure he must have a reason.
Yes. The reason is he was too foolish to realize what in God's name he was doing.
What are you kids fighting about?
Nothing. Well, what would you have me do? I'm practically the only man my age left here.
Oh, you're hardly a man.
I am so.
Hello, Dulcie. How are the babies? And your husband?
All fine, Anne. Thank you. How are you?
Not too great, actually. I sent Lizzie out for a package this morning and I haven't seen her back. I'm so worried something might have happened to her, you know? You seen her?
No. No, not that I recall. Wish I could help.
Oh. Well, thanks. Have you heard from your Eli lately?
Just got a letter the other day. He settled into camp nicely.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hello, Wes.
Hello, Miss Anne.
Going to the Ladies' Society?
Yes, you should come with me one of these days.
Much too busy, but thank you anyway.
All right, well, goodbye, Dulcie. And Wes?
Goodbye, Miss Anne.
Now you sure it's horrible being here?
Well, hey, that's not fair.
Fair as anything.
What's not fair?
Oh, nothing.
Fine, don't tell me. Here's Joseph.
Where's Temperance?
Inside, playing with her doll. She's fine.
You think I ought to start her reading soon? She just turned 4.
That's a nice idea.
Well, sure. Maybe she could read her papa's letters.
No.
Why not?
I want her to start on something easy. He's too complicated.
Not that complicated.
And his handwriting can be messy sometimes. Too hard for her to read.
Then transcribe it yourself for her.
I don't want her reading about the war.
Just skip over those parts.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. All right?
Good.
Now let's talk about something else.
Well, I was thinking.
And how is Miss Anne today, Wes?
Weren't you inside?
You were yelling to her from across the yard.
I don't know. She seemed fine, I guess. Why are you asking me?
Well, you go to school with her, don't you?
Not anymore.
All right. Well, that's just too bad.
Well, maybe you should join the Ladies' Relief Society with her.
Maybe you should join them.
I don't think so.
Better than the whole lot of nothing you're doing.
I'm busy here.
Clearly.
Enough! You're going to upset Joe. Now, Dulcinea, you clearly are not as busy as you make out to be, so go write your husband a letter. Weston, you're not leaving, and that's final.
It's not fair!
Oh, just go play with tea inside.
I am not a child.
Just go watch your niece for a minute. Finally writing back?
I have to make a list
For what?
for what I need from town.
What could you possibly need from Selma? Wes just went a couple of weeks ago.
Just a couple things. Postal stamps, sugar.
You're making all this up.
I'm not. Tea needs a new dress.
Honey, we can't afford that.
I know. I know. Joshua should be sending money soon. Maybe.
Well, he's not going to send us anything if you don't write him.
I know.
Mrs. Dulcinea Callaway, I received your letter of the 25th June yesterday. I was truly happy to hear from you, for it really seemed you had forgotten me. Mine has been no lazy life since I became a soldier. We have been in Corinth now 5 days almost without shelter, but we are camped in an old field where the sun shines very warm, which has helped the cause very much. Does the sun shine at home? I have news here that England has recognized our independence and that peace is almost inevitable soon. I hope this is all true, but no one knows where these reports start. Oh, that I could be where I could see you. When I get sick, which thank God has been but very little so far, I get down in the mouth, take the blues, and I want to go home. But I have no desire to quit until our independence is established. I recently heard from Wes. Please tell him I would like very much for him to visit me in camp if he does not go to Virginia first. I received the letter from your mother last Tuesday. Tell her I appreciate it very highly. She speaks of my ability to see the best side of a bad picture and wishes you had more of the same gift, but I always thought you had more of it than anybody else. If you can, do send me a pair of summer pants. I shall soon need to throw away my old gray ones. Pray for the preservation of my health and moral character. I hope Joe is well. Take good care of our boy. I want to see him again. Keep 1,000 kisses on this for you and the children from your loving, Josh.
What are you doing there?
Sewing a dress, making us some extra money.
That's good. We need salt and tea. Mail come?
Yes, got something from Eli.
What's it say?
Haven't read it yet.
Anything from Joshua?
He needs me to send him some more clothes.
Well, we can send them with a messenger.
I just hate thinking about him. Over there.
I'm sure he's fine. He's doing the right thing, you know.
Sure, Mom. What are you doing here?
They're fine. Just playing in the field. You can see them still. Look.
All right.
Any mail for me?
Actually, yes.
Really?
Calm down. It's not from Anne. Joshua seems to think you'll be running off to Virginia here soon.
Why doesn't he write me in separate letters? We silly passing comments.
Because he doesn't have enough paper. Because paper is limited when all you own fits into a sack. Doesn't sound fun, does it?
What were you going to do in Virginia?
Nothing. Just forget about it.
Virginia is hundreds of miles away. We cannot just forget about you running away without telling us what you were planning to do.
Nothing.
I would have found out eventually.
And do not think for a second you'll be visiting him in camp.
Why not? He invited me.
Invited you? This is not a dinner party, Wes.
Enough. I could let him go for a few days. Nothing too long.
We have no idea what could happen to him with just a visit. It's too dangerous.
Anywhere is dangerous. A big snake could bite you over in the field. A twister could come and take our house in the middle of the night. Heck, a Yankee could find us here and take us all away. You can go, baby. And it would make Joshua so happy. If Wes wants to visit, then he should visit.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
This is a terrible idea. Daddy never would have let this happen.
Well, he's not here now, is he?
No, of course not, but... Well, the Confederacy has thousands upon thousands by now. How much more can they take from us?
Yes, and they're dropping like flies over there.
Well, that's my point.
So we need more.
No, Mama, they don't need more men for a war they're going to lose.
We are not going to lose. We have stamina, raw passion, something those Yankees will never have. They don't even know what they're fighting for.
Sure, Mama, but the South has no money. And definitely not enough men willing or old enough to fight.
So we're underdogs then. They'll never see us coming.
That won't be enough.
Hey, Mom, can I take the playing cards?
Sure, baby.
This is terrible. I'm serious. Daddy never would have let this happen.
Well, he's not here now, is he?
I know that, but...
I practically raised that one all on my own when he passed. And I will have final say with what he does with his life.
I'm just saying that
I'll be
if,
fine. Don't worry.
if some kind of battle breaks out, I want you to run the other way, got it?
Sure. Sure.
He's going to be fine. Joshua has hardly seen anything like that. You said so yourself, and even if something were to happen, I know our boys will protect him.
What did Eli say?
Probably something about how wonderful it feels to be protecting his new country.
What, Mama?
He's
What
fine.
is it?
He's fine. He's fine.
What? What?
It's just his leg. It's just his leg. He got shot in the leg. He's coming home to recover on furlough.
He's coming home?
Yes, he is. Mama, it's okay. He's alive. He's coming home.
Yes.
Wes, you know I never wanted you to go down there in the first place, but I think you need to stay home.
Gonna stay here?
Right.
Can I go when Eli's better?
I don't think
We
that's...
will see.
Do you want me to get you some water? Watch the babies for me for a second?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Something like that was bound to happen, you know? There's no avoiding it. He's lucky, really.
Some luck.
Mr. Adams has lost 3 sons already in all this fighting. So yes, if you want any luck at all, Mama, This is it.
Why, hello, Mrs. Ann.
Wes, you gave me a fright!
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean any harm.
It's all right. What are you doing here?
Thinking.
Oh,
I miss school. I need something to do. I can't sit sitting here with nothing day after day.
well, why don't you go join your brothers? I know you would look lovely in one of those fancy uniforms.
Mama and Dulcie say I'm too young.
Well, that may be true for the law, but that's not stopping the other boys, is it?
No, but they don't live with Dulcie now, do they?
So what? Her own husband's fighting for us.
I don't know. I guess she hates the thought of another one of us going and not coming back. She doesn't get it.
It doesn't seem she's being very patriotic.
No, but can we be patriotic? I mean, we're not even a real country.
Well, not yet, Wes, but we'll get there. Only if we have strong men like yourself fighting for our cause.
Miss Ann, what is our cause?
To preserve our independence. To keep our land safe. To protect the women and children left at home. To keep up our way of life. At least that's what my granddaddy says.
Oh, I hate to think of you in any danger, Miss Ann.
You do?
I'll find my way to the army one day, soon.
I'm sure you will.
My dear better half, I have managed to use ink to write to you ever since I wrote last, but now it is time to write again, and I am obliged to write with pencil. No ink to be had here. I was becoming very impatient to hear from you, but just as I had decided that I could wait no longer, my captain arrived with a letter from you. I am so glad you are all well. You didn't say whether you sent my clothes with your letter or not. If, however, you sent that coarse shirt, I shall not complain if they are lost. I should like to have a lighter one of some kind. Light linen shirts are very common, though heavier ones are even more so. I want you without fail to subscribe for the Daily Rebel. I hear it is the only source of news about us in Selma. Wes will attend to it for you. Tell him if he has any notion of joining the army to come here first. I want to see him before he does it. I am sorry Eli is wounded in the leg. I hope he will get home soon. I know your mother sees a great deal of trouble, but she can bear more than any other mother. We have not been paid off yet, nor do we have any idea when we will be. We are all nothing more now than the subjects of a military despotism, and have no right to think, and are hardly allowed to sigh at the fall of our friends and relatives. If we do happen to shed a tear in secret, it is soon dried up to make room for someone else. 1,001 kisses on this for you and the children. Enclosed is a pretty for tea. Tell her to keep it till I come home. Do write to me often. Your very affectionate, Josh.
T, Papa sent you a pretty.
Where you going, Wes?
Eli! Nowhere, just getting some more wood.
Come up here.
What?
You idiot.
Ah!
yesterday, by the way.
Why didn't you say so?
Any mention of me?
Yes, he needs you to go into Selma to get us a subscription to the Daily Rebel.
I can do that.
I'm coming with you.
Did he tell you to?
Why should that matter? I don't trust you going out there by yourself.
Why not? Eli could come with me.
What's so bad about me? It would take you hours to get there and back with Eli on his crutches.
It's a nice day.
I'll go with him.
What?
But what? It's what I thought.
Fine then. You'll need money for the paper. Will this be enough, you think?
Maybe. Has Joshua sent any money recently?
It's been months.
No. No, he has no idea when he'll be paid. In the meantime, I'll have some extra fabric to sell soon.
Well, don't work yourself too hard.
I'll work myself as hard as I need to. Be home for supper? I don't want your food to go to waste.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, baby. We'll be back.
So, what are you doing today, Eli?
Sitting, eating, maybe some sleeping. I'm about as much use as Joe these days, aren't I?
Oh, come on now, that's not true. Joe's learning how to walk.
Oh, that was harsh.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
Clever. Truly, though, I could be out there doing something good, you know? Now I'm just stuck here.
I'm not so sure anything about all this can be called good.
Well, sure.
Well, you can help me do the laundry?
Nah.
Well, I never washed your clothes when you got back. At least bring them out to me, give you something to do.
I already did them.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did, this morning.
Those were Joe's clothes.
They're under Joe's clothes. Do you look at anything anymore?
Ooh, sounds like someone needs a nap.
I'm gonna lie down.
Oh, well, can you check on T and Joe for me while you're in there?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Dulcie. Joe won't go to sleep.
Right. Okay, I'm coming.
You. Dulcie. Dulcinea.
I'm trying to get Joe to sleep.
You read this?
No?
Tell me the truth. Did you read this?
You could get arrested just for having that. Do you know?
It's not mine.
Why is it in your clothes then?
A friend gave it to me.
So it's yours now then, isn't it?
I didn't mean to bring it back with me.
But you did, didn't you?
Well, sure, but
Nothing. We need to hide this now.
hide it.
Yes, now.
Why not get rid of it?
I don't think that's a good idea.
How much did you read?
Enough.
What does that mean?
Enough to know how dangerous it is.
But you didn't hate it, though.
So what if I didn't?
Are you serious?
What were you planning on doing with this? Teaching T to read?
Better than teacher from the Daily Rebel.
That's all we got here.
Not anymore.
It's ridiculous. We cannot read this to her.
Would it really be that bad?
Yes, actually. Little thing wouldn't be able to keep her mouth shut.
I just wanted to remind myself that there was good people while I was over there.
Who gave this to you?
It was a union nurse. When I was taken to a hospital in Virginia, she read these articles like bedtime stories to me and the other boys, and I took a liking to them.
Took a liking to her, sounds like.
That's beside the point, Dulcie.
It is not. That's all this is, an infatuation.
It is not! I'll probably never see her again, and it doesn't even matter.
And she told you all kinds of lies against the South, right?
They're not all lies. Some were, but not all. I know how to separate a lie from the truth. And you know, I can tell you think the same sometimes. I see you folding your laundry, holding your babies, writing your letters. Have fun that head.
Enough! Enough. Go hide that. Where T or Mama or Wes will never be able to see it, ever. That is a risk we cannot take, and you know it full well.
I know.
Eli,
Yeah, Dulcie?
tell me where you put it when you find a place.
Sure.
My dear wife, having got done with inspection, I will devote a few minutes to a conversation with you, but alas, I must do all the talking myself. I have not room on this sheet to tell you of half that we have seen and suffered. We have now marched nearly 700 miles, and I fear we may march 700 more. Several of the company have been very sick. I, for one, was very low for several days. The whole company thought I would die. I thought myself my time had come. For 5 days I could not sit up. Though I am now weak, I have since improved. A furlough is not out of the question for me anymore, though they are rarely given here. I was elected lieutenant yesterday. Hence, I am entitled to a certain amount of extra baggage, which I would appreciate if you could send my way. I have enclosed the list with this letter. I suppose you are out of provisions, and I am sure I cannot tell you what to do. We are to be paid off soon, but to send money is all I can do. There are some in the neighborhood who owe me tuition. I may write to them to send you some pork as payment. Our weather looks fine today. Everything seems cheerful. I cannot help but hope that better days are coming. I promised so many of the company to write them letters. They are calling for me now. I will write you again in a few days. For now, kiss the children and love yourself for me. From your loving, Josh.
He sounds just fine in the letter, baby.
Sure he does. But he said he's been sick. He always hides that kind of thing unless it's serious.
That'd be a disappointing way to go over there.
Wes.
Any way would be disappointing.
Just saying.
But he said,
A furlough is not out of the question for me anymore,
that's good, right?
But he also said,
though they are rarely given here.
He got promoted, though. That's gotta make a furlough easier to get somehow.
well, I know nothing about that. It could make it even harder. They might need him for some senseless task or another.
Actually, I've heard a promotion makes furloughs far easier to get. Hello.
How was it over there? Did you kill anybody?
Whoa, now, easy, kid.
Go get him a chair or something.
I'm just fine.
You look pale, honey.
No need to worry, Mother. I'm doing much better.
If this is better, I'd hate to see before.
When they let you leave.
Late November.
Why did it take so long?
Sounds like almost 3 weeks out there all alone.
They don't exactly offer a first-class train ticket back home, ma'am, but I hitched a ride or two. Got here just fine.
Thank the Lord you did.
I came with some payment. It's not much, but
Don't worry about that. I'm teaching T to read now. She reads your letters sometimes in the paper. The Daily Rebel.
that's grand. What a smart girl. Where is she? And Joe?
Oh, they're inside, sleeping. They'll be up soon.
All right then. How much food do we have here?
Enough to last us a couple weeks, I think. I've been selling my cloth, so we should have a little extra money for food, not before long.
There should be people bringing pork in tuition payment any day now.
We will be fine.
Sure. Fine is a state of mind, Wes. Perk up.
Oh, I missed you two.
Then how come you barely wrote to me?
Not enough paper. You know how it is, Eli.
Yeah, I sure do.
Papa?
There's T.
My girl! She remembers me.
Of course she does.
Dulcie? We got a problem.
Can't I have this one victory, Eli? Just one moment. What is it?
The Liberator. I hid it in Joshua's things.
You what? Where?
In his clothes under some socks.
Okay. Okay, just hide it under your clothes then.
No good. Mom was always going through my stuff.
Right. Okay. Don't worry about it. I think I have a place.
I don't know, Dulcie. You've read it. I've read it.
Multiple times?
Maybe it's time we get rid of it.
No.
Come on,
You
Dulcie.
cannot just get rid of it. Someone will find it.
I could burn it out back. No one would see.
A piece of it could be found over and left floating around.
You're being paranoid.
It's safer to keep it where we can protect it.
It's not.
I'm keeping it.
When someone finds it, don't expect me to take responsibility for it.
You are such a coward.
Me?
Yes, you. You brought this into my home.
You know, I didn't force you to read it. I didn't make you agree with it either. That was all you. And you haven't done anything about it. You're more of a coward than I am.
I most certainly am not. You're the one still in the Confederate Army.
You sure about that?
You have something you want to tell me?
I don't need to. Why don't you go in there and tell your gray-back Johnny Reb of a husband what you really think of his promotion?
No. I won't. I hate everything he's doing in Tennessee or God knows where. I hate it so much, but I will not take him away from his children to tell him I hate what he's doing to protect us. He has waited months for this moment. I will tell him what his position is worth when I know he is good and ready to hear it.
I'm sorry.
And practically everybody you know is a gray-back Johnny Reb, as you put it. You're ones too. People can change.
What are you two doing out here?
We're coming.
Nothing.
All right, well, come on then. T's calling for you.
Are they asleep? Good.
So this is where you do that, keep all that sewing you're always telling me about.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I swear if you really sew as much as you do and you say in your letters, I thought your hands would have fallen off by... What is this?
Nothing. I don't know.
Yes, you do. Is it yours?
Not really.
What do you mean, not really?
You weren't supposed to have seen it.
But I did. Where did you get this?
I don't want you to be angry with him.
Eli gave this to you?
I found it by accident. In his things.
So what is it doing in your things?
Because I read it. And I liked it.
Dulcinea, I don't want this in my house.
You're not even here most of the time.
That doesn't matter. My children live here.
And you don't want them to be exposed to nonsense like this? Is that right?
No. I don't want some idiot setting fire to my house with my wife and children inside because of a piece of paper.
You're being dramatic.
I'm not.
I'm keeping it.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can. Nobody comes by here but family anyway. Nobody's going to see it.
What about Anne?
I'll be careful around her.
You know how nosy she can be. She'd find this in your sewing basket faster than your mother would.
I'll hide it better. I don't know.
Why won't you just get rid of it?
Because I need to hear what other people have to say about things. I can't stand listening to the same blind optimist day after day in the Selma papers. I don't want to see any more advertisements forcing families to send their boys away. And every damn day there's a new pastor, congressman, or general finding a new way to justify this death grip the South has on slavery. We're surrounded by it. All of it. I can't take it anymore. This is all I have left to tell me what else is out there.
I'm not saying I don't agree with you. The other teachers at the school and I, we used to talk about it before, and they used to say, that doesn't change the fact that this is too dangerous.
I don't think it's as dangerous as you think.
But it's still dangerous.
I'm keeping it.
What are you two doing out here?
Nothing, just enjoying a clear night at home.
Well, come on back inside. It's freezing.
All right, we're coming.
Hello, Wes. Happy New Year.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Ann. Oh, here, let me get that for you.
Thank you, Wes. How sweet.
What is this?
It's just some pork for Joshua's tuition.
But we've been out of school for months.
Well, we haven't had anything to pay him with until recently, and with Lizzie gone, I've had to run all the errands myself.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Miss Ann. We're in a rough spot here, too.
At least you have Joshua's soldier money. I heard he was promoted to lieutenant. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am, it is. We're all quite proud of him here.
Must come with more payment, huh?
A bit, not much.
They would have more if he went to fight for us.
Well, I suppose.
I wish I had someone fighting for me. It's been just me and my granddaddy for so long.
I'll fight for you, Miss Ann. One day, soon.
Oh, Wes.
Miss Anne, what a pleasant surprise.
It's good to see you looking so well, Lieutenant.
Oh, you can still call me Mr. Callaway, ma'am.
Oh, she brought us some pork.
Oh, wonderful, thank you kindly, miss.
It's for the tuition. I'm deeply sorry it took so long.
Don't give it a second thought, times are hard.
Sure are, but I know you and our men will win us our independence and we can get back to school in no time.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean? We are winning, right? That's what the Selma paper told me.
Nothing, just being modest is all.
What a relief. You going back soon?
Tomorrow morning, dawn.
Well, best of luck to you, soldier.
Many thanks to you, miss.
What's all this noise out here?
Hello, Anne.
Dulcie, how are the babies?
Fine. Thank you.
And Eli, is that you? My, I haven't seen you in ages. Thank you dearly for your service to the Confederacy.
You're most welcome, ma'am.
I'll be going to the Ladies' Society this Saturday, if you're interested in coming with me.
Oh, that sounds great, Miss Ann, but I don't think it's my kind of event.
Wes, baby, she was talking to Dulcinea.
Right. I knew that. I'm just gonna.
I don't know. There's a lot to do here.
You should go. What will you ladies be doing this week?
Making socks to send to the soldiers.
See that? You could be making a pair for me. Or Eli, for all you know. You should go. I won't be here to entertain you then anyway.
Yes, Dulcie. You should go. I'm sure you all be talking about such interesting things, right?
All right. You've all convinced me. I'll be there, Anne.
Wonderful! I'll come by on Saturday and we can walk over together.
I'll be waiting on pins and needles.
All right, well, I ought to get going. It was lovely to see you all. Give my love to all the soldiers when you go back, boys.
Of course, Miss Anne.
I'll make it my first priority.
Bye, Anne.
Well, I'd better go check on your brother. I swear that Anne will be the death of him.
Eli, why don't you go in with her?
What?
Just go!
Okay.
What do you need me alone for, darling?
Calm yourself. I just want to talk.
If we must.
I don't want you going back to the Confederate Army.
Baby, I have to.
You don't? Not really.
I'm doing this to protect you. MT and Joe. I'm the only one who can do that.
I know that. I know that. But the Confederates are losing. I'm certain. And I want you here when they do.
I'll be here.
Promise?
You're just worried about me leaving tomorrow.
Of course I am, but you don't have to.
I know you're ashamed of me. I can feel it every day. You think you're so good at hiding it, but I can read it right off your face. I know what you think of me, but I'm just trying to protect you. If I left the army now, this house would be in flames quicker than lightning. Heck, Anne would probably said it herself. So can you trust me? Please? Trust I'm trying my best to be a good person. I can't bring myself to follow Eli. I'm sorry. I don't have his kind of courage, but I'm trying not to lose myself. I'm trying.
I don't want you to fight for this. I don't want you to get hurt just because some idiot in a fancy coat told you to.
I'll be fine. I promise. Can we let this alone? Please? I can't leave you like this.
Then don't go.
Come on.
No, we should go inside. It's too cold.
I'll keep you warm. Mrs. J.K. Callaway, the Lord has graciously spared me to see another Sunday morning, and I know you will join me in thanking him for his goodness. I am well and hope this will find you and our little ones better than when you wrote before, though I have not had a letter from you in a long while. If nothing is the matter, I can't stand such delays. I become worried. I should be paid by the end of the month, and I will send you whatever you need as soon as you need it. My dear, you have no idea how sick I am of this abominable war. I would trade one of my fingers for another furlough, and my whole hand for a post in Selma, and all but my life for peace. Will peace ever be made? I fear not. Or I fear, if at all, it will be a while. However, I live in hope. The regiments are filling considerably, and I imagine they will be split up soon. I don't care anything about promotions. I wouldn't give a fig to be a lieutenant general were it not for the sake of the big pay. But how I would love to be a citizen, a school teacher. I'd give a mint of money to lie down in the parlor right now and have the children play around me. But I am compelled to stay out here in order to keep the vandal enemy from invading our home and taking away everything that is dear to me. Kiss the children for me. I would love dearly to see Joe walking. I think of him every hour in the day. Tell T how I love her. Do write to me soon. From your dear affectionate Josh.
Why don't you take a break from that?
No, I'm alright. Almost done. You think it will fit her?
Now, how do you know it's going to be a girl?
I just know.
Well, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. You just want another girl.
I can hope, can't I? You think it's too small?
Well, if it is, we could sell it for $1 or $2.
We could use $1 or $2.
Babies are expensive, but we'll get by.
What's expensive?
Nothing.
Everything, actually.
That sounds about right.
Where you been, boy?
Oh, nowhere, Mama. Just in the fields by myself.
Ah, and how is Miss Anne today?
Oh, she's just fine.
Eli, can you hurry up, please?
Hey, I'm coming. No, it takes a while. Okay,
Goodness.
I'm ready.
Baby.
It's alright, Mama. I'll be fine.
I know. You're so strong.
Why don't you just stay here?
I'm gonna go fight for our country. And you're eating all the money you can get for that new baby of yours.
Eli!
I mean, Joe. Expensive baby.
What are you not telling me?
Wes, your sister's pregnant!
Mama!
What? Did you think he was never gonna notice?
Maybe.
Congratulations, Dulcie. We should be celebrating.
Sure, but
We don't have enough money for a new baby.
Dulcie, I think it's time. We can't hold out any longer.
What?
I'm going to let you enlist.
really?
No.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Baby, we don't have another choice. You can spin that cloth till the cows come home, but it's just not going to be enough. It's just not.
We have no idea when he would be paid. Or if he would. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, if you have a better idea, I'd love to hear it.
I could try for a promotion.
Don't do that, Eli.
That would be great, son, but sending Wes away would be much faster.
You can't know that.
I know it's more likely to work.
Mama, I don't want him going and you shouldn't either.
School is over anyways. Now I have something to live for.
Something to live for?
You live here with us.
I can handle it.
No, you can't. You don't know what it's like. To you, it's all just fun and games. Risking your life for something so trivial every day till you forget what it is. Nothing to do while Joshua's away and you can't teach your own history? You want to cure your boredom because school is over? Is that it? Well, fine. This is the way to do it, Wes. No longer can you be bored when there's cannons rushing past you and men dying at your feet and the flag you're fighting for being ripped to shreds by friends and a bullet in your leg.
I'm sorry, Eli. I didn't mean it like that.
It's okay. I know what you meant. You're just not ready.
Whether that is the case or not, he's gotta go. Our neighbors are already getting restless that he's still here, and we need the pension. We need it.
I'll go, Mama. I'll be fine.
I know it, baby.
If something big happens, I want you to run the other way.
I'm not gonna do that, Dulcie. I'm no coward.
Mama, I really gotta go.
Right. Of course. Wouldn't want you to be late.
When can I leave?
Soon.
How soon?
Can you take him?
Do I have a choice?
Wes, come get your things.
I left a copy of the Liberator underneath the floorboard.
But it's your paper.
I can get others where I'm going. And I'll protect Wes as much as I can, but I don't know where they're gonna send him.
Are you gonna tell him what you're doing?
Maybe. I just gotta try to convince him before he goes crazy.
You'll have to try. I can't watch him go down that path.
Which is why you have to talk to Mama.
What good will that do?
Plenty good. There's plenty good you can do around here.
Oh, like what?
I do know quite a few spy ladies up
I'm
north.
not going to be a spy.
But I'm not telling you to be a spy. It's just... Look, you're a smart girl, Dulcie. Daddy taught you the same as me, and I know you got way too many thoughts stuck in that pretty little head of yours. Time to put them to work.
Eli.
It doesn't have to be big. Just talk to her. Start small. Please.
Fine. Fine.
Thank you. Because I really gotta go now.
You boys have to stick together.
We will.
Listen to everything he says. Don't do anything he wouldn't do, alright?
Okay, Dulcie.
Good. Gonna miss you in those babies of yours. Y'all stay safe.
We'll do our best.
Come on, Mama. I'll be fine.
Don't worry about me.
Get home soon. End it.
I will.
I'm trying. Alright, we're off. Bye, everyone.
Oh, please tell Miss Anne I've left. She'll be so thrilled.
Of course, baby.
Okay, bye now.
Wes, come on!
Oh, Mama.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I know.
I sent my boys away. I sent them away.
We had to.
It's just us now.
We're going to be okay.
My dearest love, your affectionate letter of the 24th came today bringing the intelligence of your probable condition, and I hope you are mistaken. But if you are not, take care of yourself. I may get home in time to be with you. I am very anxious about you, and I long to be at home, but I cannot. I didn't know how I did love my Dulcie till I was separated from her. There are some fool soldiers who have their wives with them here, and I would not have you here, especially not now. Yet, I can't help but envy those fellows and their happiness. I should be very sorry to hear the Yankees had gotten to Selma, but I do not think you need to be worried about that. It seems to me that my letters are all alike, and their monotony must make them dull, stale, and uninteresting, but it is the best I can do. It is very quiet here. We are uneasy about it. When will your subscription for the paper run out? You must renew it. Take Anne with you. When you buy flour, buy enough to last you for the rest of the year, if you can. I do hope that this year will close the war. The Lord hasten the day of peace. Have Mother watch over our 2 lovely children, so you may watch over our 3rd. Do write to me soon. May God spare our lives. From your devoted husband, Josh.
No, ma'am. None of that now. You rest.
Okay.
The fresh air will be good for you.
Can you give me Joshua's letter?
I don't want it to upset you.
It won't. Please.
All right.
Why did he have to leave?
You know full well.
None of this would have happened if he never came back in the first place.
Now that's a horrible thing to say. You don't mean that.
It's true. If he never left, I wouldn't be left to deal with this myself.
He had to go back. Got a furlough, and then he had to go back. It's just the way it works, Dulcinea, and you're just going to have to accept it.
I'll accept it later.
It's the way of the world. You know, the boys go off and do Lord knows what, and we stay here and keep the world turning at home.
Oh my God.
What? What?
I let Wes go for no reason.
Oh,
Do you think we could get him back?
even if the state would let us, he would never come on his own.
Oh, Lord.
Hello, Miss Anne. We're not taking any visitors today.
It's all right. I know all about Dulcie's tragic ill health. That's why I brought...
Thank you, kindly, but we are not taking any visitors.
Mama, it's fine. She can visit for a bit. She will never leave otherwise.
All right, not too long, you understand.
I wouldn't dream of it. How are you, Dulcie?
Fine, Anne.
It must be so horrid to have lost a child during these challenging times.
Could barely call it a child.
Was it a boy or a girl?
Doesn't matter.
And with Joshua so far away, I can't even begin to imagine.
Well, let's not and say we did, then. What's the news around town, Miss Anne?
Did y'all hear the Yankees have set up camp in Selma? I mean, can you believe it?
No. We didn't hear. Been rather occupied here lately.
Right. Of course, sorry.
Where did you hear such a thing?
Granddaddy saw them with his own 2 eyes.
Do you think we ought to pack up our valuables? I heard that some ladies down in Georgia moved all the way to Texas to get away from the bluebellies.
Relax. They're not coming for us.
You can never be too sure.
Just don't provoke them is all.
There's no such way to do that. They'll be coming at me the second they hear my voice. There's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, really? Where'd you get those apples, Anne?
Our orchard, of course. Do you want one?
You pick them yourself?
Well, Noel Peg, our servant, left them
Your
out.
slave, you mean?
Dulcinea, I know you're hurting, but that's no reason to be so crass.
It's just a question, Mama.
Well, Anne? Well, I suppose that's what I meant, but...
Well, then there's your problem. Let Peg go and you'll be safer from the Yankees.
That's just not true.
Maybe you're right, but having her certainly doesn't help. Let them go.
We already lost Lizzie. How could I do that to Granddaddy?
Well, it's law now, for starters. Don't you read?
Of course I read, and it's union law. That proclamation or whatever has nothing to do with us now.
You also lost Lizzie. You're managing just fine without her.
We are not. There's too much work. It's hard.
Oh, it must be so hard to be you, Miss Anne. Too tired watching Granddaddy beat Peg all day long?
Hold on now. He never...
Doesn't he?
Even if he did, which he doesn't, I can't let her go. It's all up to Granddaddy.
Well, then go convince him to stop. Let her go. It's for your own safety, right?
Dulcinea, we are in the Confederate States. We do not have to abide by those Yankee laws.
The Confederates haven't won yet.
Well, we can't disrupt disrupt our whole system just because we're scared of the Yanks.
Maybe your system needs a little disrupting.
We need to keep order. It's the whole reason we're fighting.
You made sure Wes knew all this before convincing him to leave.
I was only telling him what I know.
What do you know about it, huh? Your granddaddy told you what to think? Why don't you knock some sense into that perfectly good head of yours before it rots like the rest of them?
I am so sorry, Miss Anne. Dulcinea doesn't know what she's saying lately. She's been out of sorts.
Quite the contrary.
Why don't you come back and visit when she's more well rested?
Of course.
And take your tainted apples with you!
What on earth has gotten into you?
I don't know. I'm just tired.
You didn't seem tired just then.
I'm tired of this whole thing. It just needs to stop.
The what? The war?
I guess.
It'll be over faster than you can say Yankee. I know it.
No. You can't know that. Confederates might lose. Probably will.
No, our boys will prevail. They're strong.
Union boys have sanity on their side.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Your own brothers and your husband are crazy?
I
or-
never said they were crazy.
Then what?
I don't want to talk about this. I just want to go inside.
No, you started this conversation and now you're going to finish it. Now, what is this about?
It's about more than protection, Mama. You know that.
So what? If we're trying to keep everything in order, if the only way to do that is to create a new country, then that's how it has to be.
You say keep everything in order like you're organizing a cabinet or something. Mama, our boys are fighting to keep slavery, and that's that.
That's not all they're fighting for.
That's what they tell the soldiers, sure. Doesn't make it true.
Then what?
I know you know it's wrong. If you don't, I'm telling you now, it's wrong.
It's the way things have always been done down here, Dulcinea, and you're just going to have to accept it.
No. A person can't own and beat another person, Mama, not anymore.
We can't have life any other way.
You didn't even see Lizzie.
And you did?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. What are you not telling me?
All I'm saying is you don't know what goes on over there. I only hope Peg makes it out.
Since when do you care about Peg? She's not yours.
She's nobody's.
What do you expect Anne to do? Harvest the entire orchard herself, have her old granddaddy do it?
Yes, exactly.
What have you been reading? Who have you been talking to? It
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. All of a sudden you're talking like a Yankee traitor or something, and that can't come out of nowhere.
Well, it has.
No way. Dulcinea, that baby was Joshua's. What?
Of course it was. I can't believe you would even.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just the way you're talking. It's got me thinking that someone is filling your head with all kinds
The
of
only
nonsense.
reason to worry is if you still believe in this idiotic Confederacy by the time the Union boys come our way. You can be angry, offended, or whatever with me. But I don't want you talking to my children about this war anymore.
Dulcinea.
No. I'm done with you. You say someone's filling my head with nonsense, but I say you're filling their little heads with foolishness. And you know what? There are plenty of reasons to be upset today, but at least another one of my children won't grow up with you as an influence. This world is changing one way or another, Mama, with or without you. So now all you have to do is decide if you're going to change with it or die with your old ways.
I'm going into town. Got a letter I wanted to send to Wes.
Fine.
Are you going to be okay here with the babies by yourself?
Just go on.
Dearest Dulcie, by the mercy of God, I am again permitted to write to you. I hope you are well. I received your sad news only yesterday, and I hasten to reply. I have never longed to be with you as much as I do right now. Today is my birthday, and while I return unto God my sincere thanks for having preserved my life, and for having brought me through so many trials and dangers, I must not forget to thank him for the infinite blessing of such an invaluable jewel as yourself. There are many bright spots in my childhood, which my memory reverts back to with pleasing recollections, but there are many scenes in my life that I look back upon with many bitter regrets. I pray that the Lord will forgive me for the sins of youth and the follies of riper years. I could fill a volume about the inhumanity of man since coming to this war. I learned more of human nature and deception than I ever cared to know. I can relax only when reading your letters or the Bible, which has been lent to me by a fellow soldier. Read it, my dear, and you may find some solace in it. I must tell you that a Lieutenant Tucker of this regiment deserted a few days ago. He took 9 months' wages and started home until the major found him. Tucker was sent down a line of soldiers and kicked for his desertion while they called him coward. The privates seemed to enjoy this hugely. I did not participate. Any one of us who has made it this far cannot possibly be called a coward. God knows I hope this will find you all well. Do pray let me hear from you soon. I wish all the best health to you and our 2 lovely, healthy children. A kiss of peace on this for you all, from your loving Josh.
T, stay where I can see you. Don't make me get your mama.
What's going on?
Nothing. T's just playing.
Oh.
Got a letter from Joshua.
Another?
He's only sent 1 this week. It's not like he's sending 2 a day.
Before long he might.
Probably nothing better for him to do.
At least we agree on one thing. Let me see the letter.
All right.
Oh. Missed his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I always used to give him a letter on his birthday, even when he was here.
I remember.
No, you don't. Don't go acting all high and mighty.
I'm not.
Fine. I can't read this. I hate him worrying about me. I'm fine. He's enough to worry about as it is.
He likes worrying about you. You should let him. I know you're not going to listen to me anymore.
That's not true.
It is. But the least you can do is finish reading his letter.
Fine. Did you read to the end?
Yes.
It's barbaric.
What is?
The part about the deserter?
I guess.
You guess.
Well, if a soldier deserts his regiment, then he is a coward of a boy who must be made into a stronger man. That's just the way things are done.
What would you say if Joshua had left?
I would say the same thing.
Sure.
I would.
You're just trying to be all tough about it.
I'm not.
Fine. Whatever you say.
You need to write him a letter back this time. You know I'm right.
Yes.
Hi, ladies.
Hello, Miss Anne.
I saw T over in the field. I think she was eating dirt.
Oh, Lord!
Not the first time that's happened.
I can imagine. How is Dulcinea?
Stubborn as ever.
Oh, goodness, really?
She still goes on about that nonsense sometimes, but I'm sure it's nothing.
Right.
You haven't told your granddaddy about her little outburst, have you? Not that there's anything to keep secret, or...
Oh, never. I wouldn't dream of it. Have you heard from Wes?
I feel like I should be asking you that. Surely he writes you most often.
Not really. I've only gotten a couple letters from him.
Huh.
He sounds kind of odd.
Well, I'm sure he's just busy. I have a few of his short letters here myself, and he's always up to something over there.
I'm sure you're right. What a brave son you have, Mrs. Baker.
Got 2 sons and a son-in-law fighting for our independence. Couldn't be prouder.
Thank you dearly for your sacrifice.
Don't thank me yet. They're still alive and well, as far as I know.
Well, I just meant it must be so hard to have lost so much time with them. Watch them get hurt and all.
Yes, it is.
Look what I found over in the field.
Hi, everybody.
Wes! Why didn't you tell me you were coming back? I would have picked some beautiful apples for you.
It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, you know?
Of course. We're just glad you're here.
We were just outside Selma, and I spoke to my superior, asked if I could come for a visit.
Really? That was very nice of him.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Oh, I'm just so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too.
How long are you staying with us, baby?
I don't.
Wes can stay as long as he pleases.
I'm sure his regiment will need him back soon, Dulcinea. There's still plenty of work to be done.
Oh, please never leave us again, Wes. We all missed you too much.
Well, if you say so.
Do you want something to eat? I'm sure you're starving.
I'm fine, Mom.
I think we might have a little bit of flour left. I could make you the biscuits and the jam you like.
Well,
Don't you move a muscle. I'm gonna run back to our place and get some of our best apples just for you.
We're out of flour. Miss Anne, do you have any over at your place?
Of course.
We will be right back.
They're gone, Wes.
I can't go back, Dulcie. I can't go back.
You don't
I
have
can't
to.
go- But I do.
I will make sure you don't go back there.
Mama would never let me stay.
She'll come around. We don't have to tell her everything.
She'd find out.
I will make sure she doesn't.
You can't do that. I have nowhere to go.
Well, have you talked to Eli?
Sure, a few times. Got separated a while back.
Do you know what he does?
No. Not too different than what I've done, I'm sure.
Do you want to talk about it?
No. What does Eli do in Virginia?
It's not my place.
What is it? Is it a secret? Dulcie, I don't even know if I'm gonna go back. Who am I gonna tell? Joe?
You cannot tell any of this to Mama. She doesn't know.
Okay.
Eli, he hasn't told me this explicitly, but I'm quite certain he's a
What?
spy for the Yankees.
Everything I've done has gone to hell because my own brother's
He's not
spying for the...
single-handedly winning this war, Wes.
Might as well.
Don't jump to conclusions, Wes.
My lord, Dulcie, do you agree with him?
Yes. Yes, I do. And you should too.
No way. No. No, I can't believe you. I've seen things that have burned my eyes that were so horrible. I saw men die right before my very eyes. I saw the Hayes boy blown to pieces. I felt the ground beneath my feet shake with hundreds, thousands of men charging at me. I've seen things I never wish to see again. And now you're telling me that was all for nothing? Nothing because of some senseless ideas Eli's feeding you?
Wes, just come over here. Listen to me. You don't know the half of what you've been fighting for.
We're fighting for our independence! To protect our land, our
It's
home!
not that simple. You're 16 years old. You haven't learned enough to know.
I've seen more than you can imagine. You have no right to tell me what I know!
You're right. I'm sorry. But this war is about more than independence, Wes. Surely you've gathered that.
Some of the boys say it's about slaves. But so what if it is? That's the way things work. They're treated well around here.
They're not, Wes. You don't know the half of it.
Your husband taught me everything I know at school. Why don't you take this up with him?
I have. That is none of your concern. Your concern is to educate yourself about the things people around here won't teach you.
What is that?
It's a Yankee newspaper.
You've got to be kidding me. I
Let
can have
me
you
talk.
arrested.
You need to read this before you go back.
Yeah, sure.
I'm serious. If this doesn't convince you to join Eli, I don't know what will.
Join Eli as a Yankee spy? No, ma'am. I am not a traitor. Not like you.
Don't think of it like that. We're still part of the Union, technically. The Confederacy isn't even real.
Oh my God.
Think of it like a change of heart.
This is ridiculous.
Just read it. If you don't agree with it, at least you know what you're fighting for.
Go to hell!
Lord, what are those soldier boys teaching you?
Something better than this garbage!
It is not garbage, Wes. People are suffering. Real people.
Well, I'm fighting for this family! Not for slaves! Not for this women's rights nonsense! Not for this foolish emancipation! It doesn't even make sense. Ungrateful ass. Go ahead! You have to let the Yankees destroy everything here. See if I can!
Wes!
Just shut up about it. Mama would never forgive you.
I know.
We brought apples and biscuits.
How sweet of you.
We picked them ourselves.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What about?
I gave Peg a break today.
And just like that, slavery's fixed.
What was that, Dulcie?
Nothing.
When do you go back, baby?
Tonight.
Tonight? You sure?
You just got here.
You can't leave me so soon.
I have to go. Our nation needs me.
Does it really?
Now?
It was good to see everybody.
Are you sure you're okay to go back there?
I'm fine, Dulcinea. Don't give me a second thought.
Don't go back, Wes.
I have to go back.
Write me more.
I will.
Be safe. Remember what we discussed?
How could I forget?
Well, that was odd.
Why did he do that?
It wasn't him.
Mrs. Dulcinea Callaway, I am sick. I am sick of our separation, and I am sick of this war. Your anxiously looked for letter of the 4th reached me today. You have no idea how it helps me to hear from you. Really, my dear, it is all my solace. I hope your mother and Eli have had a pleasant and profitable trip. Have they gotten home by now? I am so glad you and Miss Anne are having such a pleasant time together. May it continue forever. Do be careful in how you spend your time with her. Being an officer conflicts my emotions. I lay here writing to you on a bed, in a tent, with all the comfort possible in a place such as this, while my comrades are in the line of battle, one blanket to a man, awaiting the roar of gunfire. No telling when we will ever have peace. The devil must be turned loose upon the earth for a season. My dear, I do not know myself. I should like very much to join the church again, and I hope you would as well. Will you write to Professor Moore on the subject soon? I learned that salt costs $100 a sack. You will have to do the best you can until I can get home, which should be soon, if this thing can be settled in time. At this point, I am uncertain if I care how it is settled. I may write to Eli on the subject soon. Enclosed is a little ring, the workmanship of my own hand. If you never see me again, if I should die or be killed, preserve it as a relic not only of me, but of the war. I hope to have one ready to send to you in my next letter. It has now commenced raining and I am blue. I must go now. Oh, how I wish I was at home with you. I would do anything to be there right now. Give Eli and your mother my regards. Remember me kind to all. Many kisses on this for you and the children, and may the Lord bless you. Yours truly forever, Josh.
How much of this do we need to make anyway?
As much as it takes to put food on the table?
Well, hasn't Joshua sent you his money?
What money? He rarely gets his pension when he's supposed to. And with the school closed. This is about all we have.
How much do you think your mother and Eli will get for all that cloth they took to sell?
A decent amount. If they can sell it in Selma. But they've been gone for a few days, so they probably had to go out further. Enough to last us a couple weeks' meal?
We could send you some food from the farm.
Don't do that. We don't want charity. You're struggling too, I expect?
Well, sure, but it's just me and Granddaddy.
And Peg?
Yes. Yes, and Peg. I'm still not sure about this, Dulcie.
How come?
It's just so extreme.
What part?
All of it.
Same could be said of slavery.
I mean, looking through this, I've never heard of such a thing. We must take our free-colored and slave inhabitants as we find them, recognize them as countrymen who may be made useful in society and honorable in reputation, give them the advantages of education, respect them, and have the evils less forsaken fallen on them alone. I mean, we gave Peg and Lizzie some education, but countrymen, if Granddaddy ever saw this...
No. That paper's the only copy I have of the Liberator. You won't see it.
Well, of course, but I mean, it's just not done.
Why not?
Because it's not.
Now, if you don't have a better reason than that, something is surely wrong. It's not done doesn't mean it can't be. You love Peg, don't you?
I don't know enough to argue this.
You love her.
Yes.
Then don't you think she deserves more in life than this? Being owned like an object?
Well, sure, I guess, but
And that's that.
we don't have enough to pay her.
Then let her go.
I'd miss her too much.
You still need to let her go.
Yes. Yes, I understand. It's a lot to take in, Dulcie. I mean, talking about how a woman should own her husband's property, I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
You got that turned around. I thought the same thing at first. But I gathered it's more like when my mama passes on. Being the oldest child of hers, I would get this home. And she's my mama, not Joshua's. So this house would belong to me, not him. Even though we're married and he's still alive.
You would own the house,
Yes?
not Joshua.
Yes?
So, if, for example, nothing I've really been thinking about or anything, but Wes and I got hitched, and we moved into Granddaddy's after he passed. According to this thing, the place should belong to me?
Yes?
Oh, well, that's neat.
Isn't it? Still not the case here, though.
Right, just for the Yankees, I guess.
I don't know. Just something they've been talking about up there. Hard to say.
Well, I hope those Yankee ladies can get what they want.
Me too.
We could try to convince some girls around here it's a good idea. I could talk to my ladies' society.
The one making supplies for the Confederacy?
Right. Maybe just some of them?
No. If we tell them, then they know what I have.
But you showed me.
Yes, well, you're younger. Kinder. And I told Wes, so I
You-
figured he'd be finding out sooner or later.
You told Wes. What did he say?
He was angry. Thinks he's fighting this grand fight. I shouldn't have shown him the paper.
He hasn't written anything to me since he left that afternoon last month.
He's probably just still angry with all of us.
All of us? How could he be angry with me? I didn't know about any of this until now.
I don't know, Anne. He's just angry at the world.
Maybe I should write him.
You know where he is?
I could find out.
When you figure that out, you let me know, okay?
Have you told Joshua? Does he know? Is he angry?
That man doesn't have an angry bone in his body. But yes, he knows.
Is he, with Eli?
No. He's too loyal for that. I wish he wasn't.
So he's still fighting then for the Confederacy? For the Confederates?
Yes. Thinks he's protecting us or something the army is telling him. Would feel more protective if he was here, you know?
Right. He's a good man.
I think so. He's a little turned around at the moment, and he knows it.
Why not come home?
Too proud. Way too proud. Although,
What?
I don't know. In his last letter, it just seemed different. I think he may try to come back home. But I'm probably just imagining things.
Well, what did he say?
Said he didn't care who won. Just seemed like he wanted to leave. Come back to us more than ever.
That would sure be nice. He'd never hear the end of it from Granddaddy, though. Or Mr. Hayes. And Lord Mr. Powell would just have a fit.
I know, Anne. That man's gonna do a lot of forgiving when this is over.
I think we all will.
He wants me to join the church again.
You could come with us this Sunday. Professor Moore's preaching.
I don't trust him. But I promised Joshua.
He's a good man, Dulcie. He's gonna be okay.
He better be. I'm not talking to the professor for nothing.
Stop it, Eli. Stop
No,
it.
no, Mama.
Am I supposed to be going along with this? Is that what you want from me? Because you're not getting it.
If you just listen to me,
I am your mother, and you are going to listen to me.
that might be true, but
But what? How on God's green earth did you turn out like this? I mean, if your father were here...
if Daddy were here, Wes wouldn't be out fighting this war in the first place.
So it's all my fault. I'm some sort of maniac mother for defending my land.
Your
and
land? Mama, we were born in North Carolina. We never would have uprooted our lives and poisoned ourselves with this worthless soil if you hadn't convinced Father. So yes, it is your fault.
How dare you?
Or Wes wouldn't be out. Poor Wes was raised by our idiotic admiration for this hellhole, and with the help of little Miss Southern Belle over there, he's out fighting for the laughingstock of the world.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Same kid I've always been. I just know more than you now.
Yeah, you know more than me. You've been poisoning my daughter's thoughts, haven't you?
Don't bring her into
He
this.
didn't poison anybody.
Oh, yes, he did.
Maybe I should
No,
go.
you stay right there. I want you to see what traitors your dear friends have turned out to be.
But what? I kinda...
What?
I already know.
What? Who told you?
Dulcie told me yesterday. She gave me this paper to read.
Dulcie, why would you do that?
It's really not that bad, Mrs. Baker.
What would Wes say if he could talk to you right now? What would he say?
Anne, why don't you go on home?
No. She stays right here.
And you should leave.
No! I'm gonna be part of this family one day, so I'm staying right here.
What are you talking about?
Wes promised me that we would be married after all this was over. Before he left?
Anne, Wes has changed a lot. I don't know.
No! He promised! Don't completely shut him out. We can still give him a chance.
All right. It's okay.
If my boy promised something, then he's going to follow through because that's how I raised him.
Mama.
Don't you take that tone with me. I know what you're all thinking. Poor mother, poor Mrs. Baker, too old, too ignorant, too senseless to understand us. Well, I don't even care anymore because the South will rise from these ashes that you self-righteous people planted on our soil. And if you want to move to New York or wherever the hell the damn Yankees retreat when we've won, then be my guest, but get out of my house.
smuggle a copy for you. I'll write to you as much as I can.
Write to Joshua.
I don't know.
He needs help.
Okay, I will.
Stop stalling. I don't want to see you and your sister conspiring. I don't want to see you anymore.
I'm sure you don't mean that, Mrs. Baker.
Don't you talk to me, Miss Anne. You run on home before I take you there myself.
Bye, Mama. When she calms down, maybe you can talk to her.
I'll try.
Try all you want. I'm no traitor.
Bye then.
You open it.
December 5th, 1863. Mrs. J.K. Callaway. It now falls to my unhappy lot to write you a short letter letting you know what has become of your much beloved and devoted husband, Lieutenant Joshua K. Callaway, who fell in the late battle on Missionary Ridge. Mortally wounded while rallying his company, he was shot by a minie ball through the stomach. We picked him up and started off the field with him when he asked us to lay him down and let him die. We laid him down. I have every reason to believe that he has gone on to a better land where there is no more war. If it be your wish, I will send all his things home as well as the 1 month's pay he has left behind. The company and officers deeply sympathize with you in his loss, but what is yours and our loss is his eternal gain.
No.
Don't do this to yourself.
He was
baby.
left. He could have escaped. He wanted to leave. I know he wanted to leave.
You did what?
I sent him a letter. After a long time because he wrote like he wanted to leave. So I told him to. I told him we would hide him somewhere until the Union won.
Did he ever say he was actually going to leave his position?
No. Because that would be too dangerous, you see. He must have just stayed there till he left because it's obvious. It's obvious.
baby. He was shot with a mighty ball.
No. He must have just stayed there till he left so he could escape home because there was nobody there to stop and nobody was with him. Nobody was with him.
I'm sure he was thinking of you.
The last thing I wrote to him was how ashamed I was.
When did you send the letter, baby?
A week or so ago.
Well, he might not have gotten it. You know how the post works around here.
I'll know what I said. I'm not even sure I told him I loved him.
He knows you do.
Knew.
What?
He knew. He's dead and it's your fault!
You're just looking for someone to blame.
If you hadn't been so bent on sending him away in the first place, he never would have gone.
The government was sending out a draft. There was nothing we could do.
Sure there was.
Like what?
We could have moved.
I'm not having you make us look like a bunch of cowards.
We aren't cowards. We'd be getting away from all this insanity.
Baby, I don't think we should be having this conversation right now, yet you're upset.
I am upset! I will not stop until you see what I'm trying to show you.
Which is what?
That my husband, the best part of my life, died for nothing. A foolish, evil cause because he trusted you and everybody in this godforsaken place.
You're acting like you weren't even there. You could have
You
stopped
just
him.
listen to me. We could have at least kept him here when he came home for his furlough.
Baby, I didn't know anything about your shame in
You
our country
did,
then.
you did.
I didn't. And if you wanted to get him to stay, then you failed, not me.
You're right. You're
No,
right. I should have
sorry.
talked to him sooner.
No,
It's my fault.
it's not your fault.
If it's anybody's fault, it has to be mine.
I won't have you talk like that.
I had him. He was going to come back.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. If only I had convinced him more, maybe sent him an article from the newspaper.
That newspaper wouldn't have convinced him, baby.
Yes, would. It would.
No, what would have convinced that boy was your own words.
So it is my fault.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You just said only my words would convince him to come home.
I'm just saying that paper wouldn't have. You place too much importance on that paper, baby.
Mama, that paper has taught me things I could never imagine learning. Besides Eli, it's the closest thing I've got to reason around here.
I may not understand that paper, baby, but what I do know is that you're going to convince far more people by talking to them straight. You can't just hand your husband a piece of paper and expect him to abandon everything he knows.
But what if...
But nothing. It wasn't your fault. He wouldn't have just left a commitment like that.
He left me.
That's different.
It's not.
Fine. Maybe we don't know if he would have come back. But he's gone, baby, and
I can't raise Joe and T myself.
sure you can. I'll be here, and Wes will come back.
Will you let Eli come home?
I'm not sure if he'll want to, but of course, I can't refuse my son a place to live, no matter how disappointed I am.
Are you that disappointed in me?
A little. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know that you and your brother are right. In some ways, it's hard.
Really?
I'm not saying I'm ready to agree with you.
Are you ready to listen?
I need time. These came this morning.
Who are they from?
One is for me. It's from Eli, but the other is from Joshua.
It's from November 19th.
Well, maybe
No, Mama.
Hi, ladies. I got a letter from Wes.
Did you?
Miss Anne, now is not a good time.
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if I should come in the first place.
Joshua was killed.
Oh. I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Well, now you know.
I'm sorry, Dulcie. I can leave.
We'll be fine. Stay.
If there's anything I can do, just let me know.
Thank you. What did Wes say?
I don't know. I was waiting to open it with you.
That's nice.
How are you holding up, Mrs. Baker?
I'm pushing through, Miss Anne.
Mama said she'll listen to us about the war and everything.
Oh, that's wonderful. Dulcinea really seems to know what she's talking about.
That's not quite what I said.
It's basically what she said.
Why don't we just read these letters,
All right.
Have you showed her the papers yet?
What papers?
No. Not yet.
Well, why not?
Dearest Anne, I hope to be reunited with you, although I don't think we'll see each other anytime soon. This place is barbaric beyond your wildest dreams, Annie. But I must do what is right, what is good for our family and our land. I'm sure our grandchildren's children will be immeasurably proud of the sacrifices made by the great Confederate states. You must be worried. I've not written much, but I'm well. I've been busy taking down bluebellies and Yanks after our land, and with every victory I have, know that it is all for you. Made a friend from Texas. We can move there when this is all over. Away from my family, away from Summerfield. I'll buy us a place for just the two of us. Stay away from Dulcinea. She has become a lost soul. I will not have your mind filled with nonsense like she has. Do not trust anybody. Wait for me. With much love. Your Wes.
Just take a look at them. Just one moment, please.
Some bits are really quite interesting. Like the part about the women voting and that piece by Frederick Daniels.
Frederick Douglass.
Right, the
Abolitionist.
Will you two stop?
Mama.
My mother. It pains me to write this letter. A letter I know you may not read. I'm sorry I disappointed you, but I'm not sorry enough to stop believing in what I believe. or to stop doing what I do. I'm forever loyal to you, but just as I am to myself. I hope that one day you can welcome me back home and we can talk about our differences, civilly, as adults should. Enclosed is my latest monthly pay from both my positions. You are free to spend it as you choose, but I do hope you use it to buy some flour. I knew you were out last time. Or maybe even dress for tea. Lord knows she needs it. If you hear from Joshua, please give him my regards. I haven't heard from him in a while. Be kind to Dulcinea. She still needs you, Mama. God go with you. I hope to see you someday soon. Your son, Eli.
This is Lizzie's.
Yes,
Why do you have it?
I found it by accident.
When? All of her stuff is in here.
It was on her way out, I believe.
You could have gotten arrested for having something like that.
So could she. Worse, actually.
Why did you keep this?
I don't know.
There's an address in here.
Nothing we can do about it now. She's long gone up there by now. I hope.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
My dear wife, I am finally convinced to let the good Lord decide upon what terms we have peace, as you say. I am as sick of the war as any man who ever deserted, but do not think I have any notion of a similar course. I have made my bed. We must accept the end on his terms and trust his goodness to do us well. I know he will give us what we deserve. Let us not ask for more. Yesterday morning, I went up with some fellows to the top of the Lookout Mountain. It is sublime beyond conception. While standing there, I could not help but think how travelers from all countries will come to see the Valley of Chattanooga, and how that the poets of future generations will stand there to have their geniuses inspired and then immortalize the scene and the mountain in song. While musing thus, I could not help but feel a spark of ambition, a desire to make my name as immortal in future history as the war that rages on alongside my mountain. But at this point in my reverie, I saw a general at the foot of the mountain. When I compared him to the mountain and then to the universe, and I thought of his pride and ambition, I laughed at the insignificance of it all. He reminded me of an ant trying to shake the earth, and my ambition cooled, and I would be perfectly content to be at home with my wife and never thought of after I die. I must go now. May the Lord give us peace upon his own terms, forgive our many, many sins, and restore us to one another soon. After we are relieved tomorrow, I will finish my letter and give you any additional news. For now, I give all my love to you and the children. Josh.
me to read his letter for you?
No. I will keep it. So what do you think?
I don't know. I need time.
I know, but we have.
I know my ways are old, but change like this doesn't happen in an instant. Summerfield will need just as much time as I do.
All we gotta do is try and speed things along.
I suppose I can't stop you.
Where do you think we can get some more of these?
That might be too risky, Anne.
Well, what will we do?
I guess we gotta stop reading.
What? Why?
We gotta start doing something instead.
This address. I know it. It's my great aunt's. She lives in Virginia.
You mean?
I think I know a way of getting pegged there without Granddaddy suspecting.
Well then, it's a start.